Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome back to News Dose, and Xbox Game Pass just continues to win. It's actually pretty amazing how they do this month in and month out, because not only did they just drop another critically acclaimed day one game, but they also revealed its first wave of November games, which includes a couple big releases. So we're going to get into all of that today, as well as a possible Zelda remake that could be announced as early as this year. At least that's the news on the street, but is this actually true or just wishful thinking from fans? Well, stay tuned and we'll talk about that together. Before we get started though, do make sure to hit those buttons below, subscribe and ring that bell. That way every time I post a new video, it'll be delivered directly to your device. It makes it easier to stay updated, and there's still about 50% of you who aren't currently subscribed, so don't forget to hit those buttons. With that said though, let's just go and jump right into things, starting off with a couple updates for Remedy Entertainment. In their quarterly notes for investors, they revealed a lot of information, including news for their next games beyond Alan Wake 2. Of course, we know about the Max Payne remakes as well as Control 2, but exactly how far along are they? Well, apparently Max Payne is further along, as they said that Max Payne 1 and 2 remake progressed into the production readiness stage. They said that we have gained clarity on the style and scope of the game, and we have an exceptionally well-organized team working on it. So with how they're wording things here, I'm expecting this still to be a couple years away, maybe 2025, but it is, however, closer than Control 2, which they said that that's still in its proof of concept stage, which when you think about it, that does make some sense. I mean, Control is a completely brand new game, and they just released the exceptional Alan Wake 2. And I do imagine most of their creative focus has been on Alan Wake 2, but now that that is finished up, they can start to shift their focus over to Control 2. Either which way, it'll probably be a while before we get to play Remedy's next big game, but based on the information that they just revealed here, I would expect Max Payne before we get that Control sequel. Next up, Sakurai, the Smash Bros. Director, on his YouTube channel talked about the future of the series, and much like the rest of us, he seemed kind of unsure what's next for the series. I mean, how exactly do you one-up Smash Bros. Ultimate, and just the sheer size of this game? Even if there is a sequel, can they actually retain all the licenses that they've gotten with characters from Square Enix, Capcom, Sega, Konami, Xbox? And I mean, the list just kind of goes on and on and on. Its roster is absolutely massive now, so yeah, it's going to be tough to evolve this series beyond what we're seeing in Ultimate, and Sakurai is completely aware of this. He went on to say, as for what comes next for the Smash Bros. Series, even I'm not sure. I'd say that it's difficult to imagine an increase of this magnitude happening again. Now, however, despite his reluctance, he still didn't rule out a completely new game eventually, as he went on to say, every time we managed to make a game that I had previously thought impossible, so I can't say for certain there won't be another, but I do think it would be difficult to push it any further than we have. Now, the way I take this statement is that we shouldn't expect a brand new entry alongside the Switch successor like we usually do when a new Nintendo console comes out. Ever since the Smash Bros. Series started on the Nintendo 64, it has been a staple for every new Nintendo console, but the Switch successor might be their first platform to not have a brand new entry, though I think that that's perfectly okay. For me, I kind of look at Smash Bros. Ultimate as very Mario Kart 8-esque. Now, what I mean by that is that it can go on and live and breathe for 2 entire generations. Mario Kart 8, that started on the Wii U, but they brought it back for the Switch with a ton of new planned content. They had waves of DLC come to that game, and that's something that they can do with Smash Bros. Ultimate for their next generation console. They can go on and try to make some more fighter passes, and I mean, hey, let's go ahead and get this game to 100 plus characters next generation. That would be absolutely crazy. But there are still a lot of characters that would be a great fit for Smash Brothers, including Crash Bandicoot. You have Geno from Mario RPG, Midna from Zelda, that would be pretty cool. Rayman or the Rabbids, they have closely been tied to Nintendo in recent years, and the possibilities are just endless. So I think that that's the direction that Nintendo could take with Smash Brothers, and I think that it would work very well for them. Smash Ultimate has already sold 31 million units, and it still does have a very, very active fan base that would absolutely eat up more content. Okay, so let's go and talk about Xbox Game Pass, because subscribers just keep on winning. The hot streak they're on right now is absolutely crazy, because not only did they release 3 new games just today, being Jusant, Headbangers Rhythm Royale, and War Tales, but they also revealed its first wave of November games, which as you can see here, includes Dungeons 4, Football Manager 24, Like a Dragon Gaiden, Spirit Tea, Thirsty Suitors, War Tales, as I just mentioned, it is out today, and then Wild Hearts and Coral Island. So there's a lot to play here, 3 of which I think really stands out. The first being Jusant, which is out today. We've actually talked about this game before, and I previously said that it looks like it could be a special and unique game if it's as good as it looks, and well, I got some great news for you. It apparently has delivered on those expectations because reviews are rolling out now, and it has an 87 overall score as of this recording. It's being described as a wonderful and beautiful experience, and I've even seen it compared to the likes of Eco with its wordless narrative that sparks careful contemplation and curiosity. Now, that's actually one of my favorite games ever made. Eco has always struck a chord with me, so yeah, my excitement just shot way up with that comparison. Jusant, though, like I said before, is available right now, so definitely do not sleep on this game. I know there's a lot of games out right now, but keep this one in mind. Now, Like a Dragon Gaiden will also be available to subscribers starting November 9th when it releases into the service day numero uno. You have to love it. But this is yet another Yakuza entry for Game Pass, as Xbox and Sega has really tied this franchise to the service. It's really kind of ironic when you think about it, because it wasn't even all that long ago when they were exclusive to PlayStation and fans were begging for these to come over to Xbox. Times have changed quite a bit since then, as most of the mainline entries are now available on Game Pass. And fans of the series, they're going to want to play Gaiden before Yakuza 8. Like a Dragon Gaiden is actually a smaller scoped entry set between Yakuza 7 and 8, where it focuses on Kiryu and what he's done between those two games. So fans of the series are definitely going to want to play this one before Infinite Wealth releases early next year. For that matter, if you're not a Yakuza fan, you need to go and change that and play through this series. Go play Yakuza 0, which is also available on Game Pass. Now, another big inclusion here, though, is Wild Hearts. This is a big AAA game that released just earlier this year, actually, and it's essentially EA's take on the Monster Hunter series. Unfortunately, it didn't exactly perform up to their standards and what they were maybe hoping for it sales-wise, but if you are a Monster Hunter fan, and if you want to try something just a little bit different, Wild Hearts might be worth a try. Maybe now it'll get more recognition with it being easily accessible to around 30 million subscribers. A game like this could really benefit from being in a subscription service like this. Those are really the 3 big inclusions here, though, but even beyond that, some of these other games, they might be fun tries as well. War Tales, that released earlier this year on PC and has a 91% approval rating on Steam. It's an open-world RPG where you lead a group of mercenaries to wealth, so if you find that type of game interesting, it is now available on both console and PC through Game Pass. And then there's Spirit Tea. Spirit Tea, I think, is also an interesting one. They describe it as a cozy life sim inspired by Stardew Valley and Spirited Away. I mean, both of those series are pretty beloved and everything, so that's actually a very interesting combination on paper. I want to see how this one works, but it's launching in Xbox Game Pass on November 13th. So, I mean, for you subscribers out there, it just looks like there's a lot of fun content to look forward to in the month of November, but let me know what you all think. I mean, really, since August, I feel like Game Pass has just been top-notch month in and month out, but let me know what you all think. Is Game Pass meeting your expectations or not? Now, moving on, fans are going crazy right now over the idea that another Zelda remake or remaster might be on the way here sometime soon and could possibly be announced as early as this year. Yeah, the hope for that Zelda Twilight Princess and Wind Waker HD re-release still hasn't died because an industry analyst, Dr. Serkan Toto, seemingly teased an announcement. Now, I say seemingly because this isn't quite confirmed just yet. There is some speculation involved here. But what's happening is that he reportedly posted a now deleted mysterious tweet which simply said ZR 2023. Now, the reason people believe this stands for Zelda Remake or maybe Remaster is because he also made a similar now deleted tweet in 2021 where he said Z2 2022, which referred to the launch of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom before its official announcement. And okay, while in the long run, Tears of the Kingdom did end up releasing in 2023, it is important to keep in mind that Nintendo was originally planning a 2022 release. So he wasn't technically wrong when he first made that tweet. Tears of the Kingdom did end up getting delayed, but that's kind of the situation right now and why people are thinking maybe he knows something once again. He seemingly is teasing a Zelda remaster of sorts announcement, which could happen soon. And this is actually not the first time we've heard something like this. Just earlier this year, the often leaky Jeff Grubb also mentioned that he had been hearing there was something else Zelda-related planned for 2023. So maybe this is what he was referring to, and if the two are correct, if an announcement is truly coming, the most likely place to announce it would probably be at the Game Awards. Nintendo does typically show up at the Game Awards with a few announcements every year, so maybe they would drop a big Zelda reveal there. Now, I'm not saying that it'll be Wind Waker or Twilight Princess, who really knows, but those two games have been in the rumor mill pretty much all generation long, and if there was ever a time to re-release them, it would be now. The Switch successor is right around the corner by this point, and these would be great games to transition into their next generation console. For that matter, we've been hearing they have other GameCube remasters in development, and I do kind of wonder if we could maybe see a wave of GameCube remasters throughout 2024. We already know about Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door. That's pretty awesome to see, but there's also rumors of F-Zero GX, Metroid Prime 2 and 3. That makes perfect sense, and now these Zelda games as well. All of these games are highly requested, and they would be great games to fill out their 2024 schedule as they prepare for the Switch successor. A lot of the times what ends up happening is that when we see that final transition year, gaming libraries can kind of taper off as they prepare for the next console, but this here, a wave of GameCube games could actually help avoid a scenario like that. I mean, these are all games that fans want to see return, and it would be a great way for them to kind of move into that next console. I mean, we'll kind of see what happens here, but I'm definitely crossing my fingers that these games do end up returning because I think that they're great games. Truthfully, and this is just my opinion, but I think both Twilight Princess and Wind Waker are actually better than the modern Zelda games. And I understand that not everybody's going to agree with that, but I do think the classic Zelda games are better. And now that the Zelda series has hit really an all-time high in terms of popularity, I'd be thrilled to see them be more easily accessible. Plus, it'd be kind of cool to pretty much have all of the mainline Zelda games on one singular console. That's awesome to think about. But the only thing is, just knowing Nintendo, I kind of wonder about how they would release them and at what price. That was the one thing that held back Skyward Sword HD. If you remember right, a lot of fans were not happy about its $60 launch price. So would Nintendo do that again with these games and sell them individually for $60 a piece? I mean, it is Nintendo, so who really knows? Either way, the Game Awards continue to look like a must-watch event. Now, Xbox is also updating their accessory policy, and not everybody is happy about it. This was first spotted by some users online who noticed a warning that their connected accessory is not authorized and will soon no longer work on Xbox. Now, as you might imagine, this stirred up quite a bit of controversy online with really two different mindsets. Some people do like this idea, whereas others don't, and the reason for that is because seemingly this is Microsoft's way of removing third-party controllers and accessories that helps players get an unfair advantage in competitive multiplayer. There are certain devices out there that could be considered as cheating, and this would be a way for Xbox to remove these third-party devices. On the other side of things, though, this might also impact controllers that isn't really breaking any rules, especially when it comes to the fighting game community where players use customized fight sticks. This could impact them quite severely, and that's where we're seeing a lot of backlash. While I think Microsoft's intentions are to improve Xbox's online, keep these unfair advantages out of games, this doesn't really come off as necessarily the best solution for everybody. Now, I, however, will say that Windows Central had heard that this may be related to Xbox expanding its program for approved wireless controllers, and if they do theoretically plan on approving a bunch of devices, then that might circumvent this a little bit. It really just all kind of depends on how fast and wide their approvals go.
let's say that they go out and approve a bunch of these fight sticks. Well, that would kind of make them happy, and then they can also keep some of these other unfair devices off Xbox at the same time. If they were able to do that, I think that that would be a good trade-off. Sure, it might be a little bit of a nuisance for third parties looking for approval, but that's really where Microsoft needs to make sure that they do things the right way. I mean, I guess we'll see, but let me know which side you're on. Do you like what Microsoft is trying to do, or do you think that they're just going too far? Let's go take a look at the poll of the day, though, where I asked you, well, would you like the Nintendo Switch successor to have dual screens? And actually, the majority of you said no. It sounds like most of you would just prefer this to be a strictly power-based upgrade, and okay, I can understand that. I mean, if you look at the Switch, it's having a ton of success. It's a great console as is, so why change something if it's not broke? You know, having two screens could drive the price up and take some focus away from a graphical upgrade. At the same time, though, just kind of knowing Nintendo, they do like to play around with unique ideas, so I wouldn't really be all that surprised if they did something like this, and I think that if they were to do something unique, dual screens does make some sense for them. It can be very useful in handheld mode, and plus, this would also be a great way for them to bring Nintendo DS and 3DS games to their Switch online service if they wanted to do something like that. Now, I'm not saying that any of this is going to happen, but just knowing Nintendo, I wouldn't really be shocked, is all I'm trying to say. Either way, hopefully, we won't have to speculate for much longer. I am hoping for an early 2024 reveal. Anyways, though, that's it for this episode. But if you liked the video, don't forget to bell notification and subscribe button for more content just like this. Also, if you'd like to support the channel through Patreon, thank you for making this content possible. Peace out.